Yo, what is going on? Isaac Mashman here. I wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk about something that, with the launch of Threads, has been on my mind quite a bit. Now, this isn't going to be a video telling you why you need to be on Threads or to tell you about the application. If you've heard of it, then you're probably on it, or you've made your decision and your stance to say, I'm not going to get on it. So anything that I say isn't necessarily going to change your mind, but I want to take a couple of minutes and talk about something that is coming into the conversation as a result of Threads. And as a result of any new social media platform coming out, people are going to be saying that my audience is not on X, Y, and Z platform. My followers are not going to be on X, Y, and Z platform. My clients, my prospects are not going to be on X and Y, Z platform. And I want to take a minute to kind of expand your way of thinking about the overall follower to prospect to client to buyer approach, as well as the purpose of building your audience and your personal brand. Now, a lot of you are probably in the realm of business, marketing, social media agencies, building a business where you rely heavily on social media to drive attention into sales, right? To take you through the funnel approach of the first touch, the first introduction, the advertisement down to this is the problem, here's the solution, here's why you trust me, bada bing, sale, and you make money, right? At the end of the day, money's what makes the world go round and around, but you're thinking, chances are, very short-sighted. So whenever you think of building an audience and building out your personal brand online, traditionally, people are going to tell you to talk about what you do, talk about your specialty, your specialization. And that's something that I 100% agree with, as long as you're introducing a personal side of you. You're connecting with people on an emotional level, on a personal level. You're sharing insights into who you are as a man outside of being a professional, who you are as a woman outside of being the professional. And those points of connectivity, as I talk about in my book, Personal Branding: A Manifesto on Fame and Influence, establishes rapport with a stranger. And then that person goes from being a stranger to a follower, to a fan, and somebody who raves about you, who trusts you, etc., etc. Now, I recently had somebody comment on one of my posts that I said that you need to be on Threads. And he mentioned a couple good points that could be, valid points, valid, conversation points, talking about, number one, it's just a duplicate app, right? It's just a ripoff of Twitter. And then he also mentioned that it's going to take away from your productivity. And then he also mentioned that what's the point of being on if you're not marketing and it's not necessarily going to drive you sales? Now, here's my alternative way of thinking. Whenever you are building out your personal brand or building out a business brand, you have people who can follow you that will turn into clients immediately. You have those people that would be hot leads or hot prospects that could, immediately pull the button and work with you, who will have that problem. You have people that are warmer but aren't ready to work with you yet, or maybe have questions or points of denial or points where they need to go through certain experiences, or you need to make them aware of a problem that they didn't even know they had in order to work with. You have people that are colder that aren't necessarily even aware that they have something, or that there's a need. All right, and so that's where you come in and you warm them up from cold to warm to hot, etc. The normal sales process. Not trying to give you a pep talk, but you also have people that aren't even cold to you, that wouldn't even be in the realm of somebody that can work with you to begin with, or would want to work with you, or in entirely different niches. These are outside of your typical niche. So what do you do with somebody who's outside of your niche that is following you? Are they just following you because? If they're not going to ever work with you, or it wouldn't make sense to, is that person useless, right? And I say number, not saying that the person is a number, but the person at the end of the day contributes to the broader spectrum of the total number of followers you have, the total views, impressions, and potential reach that you have, and the total number of people that could contribute and influence somebody's perception when they're following you for the first time. So I say all of that to say this, that just thinking from the stance of, this is somebody who might not work with me, so I'm not really going to need to be on the platform, is very short-sighted. Long-term thinking, right, from a bigger perspective, you have somebody who connects with you, who might not be able to work with you now, or might be that client never to be, but they know somebody who they could introduce you to that would be a good client. Somebody who could contribute to your business, to your growth. That person that's following you that might not be your client or in your niche or your prospect could also be the person that supports and shares your video. And they say that, hey, even though I have nothing to do with this industry, I can still find interest in it, or I can still see this person win. Even though they might not have any interest or be in your niche, they can still be somebody that could share your content, that could engage with your content, that could spark the algorithm, that could make an introduction, that could continue supporting you down the road, and then they have a conversation with their best friend or with their own business partner or with somebody that they know, and they say, man, I've been following this guy, and I think you would make a great fit. Or then you have something that you might not be catering to them from a consulting standpoint or from a high-level, high-ticket service standpoint, but you wrote a book. And because that person is following you and they connect with you not only for the professional that you are, right, understanding personal branding, so you have the personal side of you, who you are as a person, and then you have the brand, who you are as a professional side, then that person decides to purchase your book or go with a lower ticket offer just to support you and see you win, even if it's necessarily not going to behoove them right off the get. Or maybe they pay for a couple dollar subscription to your YouTube channel, or they go and purchase something, a subscription on your Instagram, or hop into a live stream and click the diamonds and give you a couple bucks. Whatever it is, followers are not just meant to be monetized. Followers are meant to be turned into an audience and a community that can be nurtured and grown and leveraged to hit a certain goal. And also, building out your personal brand is not just going to be revenue focused. You want to build out your personal brand to establish credibility that can put you into circles and put you into rooms and opportunities that the normal person cannot get into. And so going back to this Threads conversation and going back to, originally when TikTok came out, people are like, man, this is just for 13-year-olds dancing. This is for kids. My audience isn't here. And now you have some of the biggest names and a lot of these marketers that are trying to hop on the trend and say TikTok is where it's at. Well, hypothetically, and it's argument, there's an argument to be made that Threads could be where it is. And your audience, quote, might not be there. Well, guess what? Try casting out the net. If we're thinking about in terms of, hunting and gathering and then farming, right? That's an analogy a lot of people use in sales. Are you hunting for your next sale, or are you planting the seeds and gardening? Well, how about you fish? Are you throwing out one fishing line, or are you casting out the net and you see what you gather up? And you never know who's watching you, who's listening to you, who's paying attention. So I really wanted to record this video to maybe change and open up your awareness and your thinking in terms of this follower conversation, because you don't want to just build up a following trying to sell them. You want to build up a following and a community to support you. And I put this on Threads the other day. I said this, and I said that, everybody talks about establishing their tribe, right? What is your tribe? Well, thousands of years ago, tribes went to war with other tribes. Tribes were willing to die for their people, for their family, for their friends, for their community. Now, although we're not in this barbaric standpoint now in 2023, we still need to build out tribes, communities, that are willing to take a stance and willing to support and willing to stick and stand by each other, or stand by you being the public figure, the person that is the ultimate leader figure here, right? The public figure that other people, the public, can follow. You need to be building out such a tribe and such a community that people feel confident enough and understand your vision and know who you are, not only as the professional, but as the person and as the leader, that they would be willing to symbolically go to war for you. And that is the new narrative around this whole follower count. And this isn't my prospects, and these aren't my clients. Think a little bit bigger. Not everybody's going to work with you, but everybody could follow you. Much love.